Believe it or not, the world is full of lucky people who avoided the worst disasters in incredible ways. In the face of nearby dangers, they found help in the most unsuspected objects and allied with their guts to avoid disasters. Of course, we can't deny that they did have luck on their side, at least a little bit. These true stories of initially unfortunate people who were fortunate enough to escape destiny will leave you with a feeling of shock. Let's discover together the shocking stories of people who cheated death and survived against all odds. And for some extra fun, find our mascot Ned hiding throughout the video. The key shield. Incredible and chilling. Your car keys won't just open the door. They can also save your life. That's how unusual Maria Hernandez's story is. When she got out of the car, she didn't imagine what would happen. She walked to her apartment, but heard footsteps that were not those of her puppy. Ramirez, a man who followed Maria, took her by surprise and shot her in the face. Miraculously, the keys to her car were the perfect shield. She still had them in her hands, and the bullet bounced like a ball, and Maria was safe. Only injuring one finger, Maria pretended to be shot and fell to the ground. The man moved her out of the way and entered her apartment for a new victim, her friend. But what do you think? Just in time, Maria appeared like a ghost and avoided everything. The good news is her heroic efforts and great testimony assured that Ramirez had a spot in the gas chamber. A surviving acrobat. If you like extreme, check this out. Stunts can not only be fun but can save you from the most dangerous situations. This is the story of Joseph Spad in a famous plane crash. The Hindenburg, famous German airship named after President Paul von Hindenburg. In 1937, he suffered a terrible accident in the middle of a maneuver in the skies over New Jersey. After a spark as small as a flea, their aircraft became a fireball. Joseph, who was on board, had no choice but to use his physical abilities and jump into the void. He landed on his feet, bounced like a rubber ball, and fell to the ground. And believe it or not a single bone was broken. So don't forget to train and strengthen your bones, because you never know what surprises fate has for you. A fireman who burned everything. Fear can break records. Has it ever happened to you that in the face of great danger, you have reactions that you would have never imagined? You run, you scream, you throw things. You can be more fearsome than the worst crocodiles. But hopefully, you will never have to challenge yourself under a situation of extreme danger like this one. A group of firefighters parachuted over a forest fire in Montana, United States. But an unconventional fire began to follow them as if it had a soul. The men, driven by fear, ran uphill, breaking records for climbing the local mountains. The slope was as terrifying as a roller coaster. But it was the ingenuity of the squad leader that saved the day. He lit a fire on a path of grass, achieving a thin layer of oxygen that looked like a glass door. Thanks to this incredible fire, they escaped and survived. John Murray and the fire ants. Not every animal bite or sting will kill you, but it can cause pain so violent that you will wish you were dead. However, for Joan Murray, those terrible and unbearable bites were the escape from certain death. Murray, 47, was skydiving, but suffered a stunning fall. The parachute failed to open, and she was caught in an extreme situation. Being at a height taller than a 90-story building, she managed to activate her reserve chute, but it was of no use. She crashed into the ground, which had a bed of fire ants. Her bones broke as easily as a pencil upon contact with the ground, and her teeth were no longer beautiful pearly whites, but over 200 ant bites caused the extreme adrenaline rush that saved her life. I think that Joan keeps today something like a loving memory for them, because ants helped resuscitate her. Louis versus two pit bulls. Every dog breed has its own wonders. However, those wonders may not match with what people say. And if you thought it was all just talk, you are wrong. Terror stories come true. Louis Nell, the human father of a beautiful golden retriever named Christy, lived his worst nightmare with his eyes wide open. The two pit bulls of one of his neighbors arrived at his house with no intentions of visiting. They quickly and violently attacked Chrissy, causing her serious injuries. Louis tried to defend his puppy, but only got a bloody wound on his hand caused by a bite. The dog's teeth were like knives that ended Chrissy's life and almost ended Louis's as well. Fortunately, his wife called the police, and although his golden retriever passed away, at least he was not fatally injured. The Wallis against a tornado. Knowing something about tornadoes or tsunamis and other phenomena could help you stay safe. Not many people think about it. Even if you can't control or avoid them, knowing about natural phenomena could save you from making the wrong choices. After all, you don't know if you will encounter a tornado while driving. 2013. Several strong winds affected the United States, especially Oklahoma. There, husband and wife Gary and Susan Wally were victims of a voracious tornado. The force of the tornado was such that it sucked them out of the car like a vacuum cleaner picks up dust. Susan was recording everything with her cell phone. Finally, without any possible explanation, this couple and even their dog Rocky survived. They woke up from their nightmare about a block away from their car and with almost a dozen broken bones. But fortunately, all of them were alive. Frozen for 5 days. Have you played hide and seek and stayed locked up? If it happens to you, you could have overcome it and even enjoyed it a little. But this is not the case when your methods of self-protecting leads you into extremely dangerous situations. Teresa Christian, 59, wanted to avoid a tornado. Although she wasn't as small as a 6-year-old, she managed to take refuge in a freezer like the one you use at home. She was so unlucky that she stayed locked up for 5 days. Fortunately, one of her children heard her cries, weakened by the cold, on the 5th day. She was taken out of that ice cave and taken to the hospital in serious condition. She was really protecting herself from a tornado, or was it a figment of her imagination? The saw who saves lives. No illness is desirable. Many times you stop jumping, swimming, and laughing because of many of them. But all is not lost. Although it is incredible, the strangest surgeries can be the solution to the worst diseases or prognosis, without stealing positivity and good humor. As in the classic magic trick, Janice Olsen, a woman suffering from bone cancer, was sewed up in half. As the best of the magicians, Dr. Michael Jasemski created this treatment. By making the cut as if dividing a piece of bread into two, it was possible to reach the safe spot in her pelvis. But that was not all. The bone of the left leg amputated in the same surgery served as a hook to anchor the right leg and save it. Then, like any skilled office worker, the doctor stapled Janice's hip, and it was a success. The amazing thing is that the other people who have gone through the same surgery did not make it, but inexplicably, the magic of science in Janice did work. Chased by the Civil War. Having a garden in your home can be lovely. Flowers, grass, and a comfortable bench can make it a perfect place for sunbathing. But what if your beautiful garden turns into a bloody battlefield? Get off my lawn, so cried Wilmer McKellen. The Battle of Bull Run, one of the many battles of the Civil War, occurred in McLean's lawn in 1861. More than 20 million people died there. That was so frightening that it seems that the lawn was adorned with tears and not flowers. Then McKellen moved to Southern Virginia, but it didn't help. Battles followed him and invaded his home again until General Lee signed a truce in the front room of McKellen's house. Finally, after all that suffering, he was able to see the beginning and the end of this story at first hand. 7 is the charm. Surviving a tragedy may not make you famous as a superhero. Although surviving a lightning strike 7 times will earn you important recognition. Are there awards for those kind of superheroes? Roy Sylvan, Ranger of Virginia, United States. Incredible as it may seem to you, this poor man was struck 7 times by lightning. 7 was definitely not his lucky number. He endured fire in his body, shoulder and ankle injuries. And if it wasn't enough, his wife was also hit by lightning. Perhaps it was so unbearable that Roy ended his 7 cat lives in 1983. After all, what else could he expect but another lightning strike? Avoiding near dangers. A day at the beach is always really fun. You can choose to get the best suntan. But don't forget that while you close your eyes and get the sun, the secrets of the sea are lurking, and you won't be safe from them in the sky or the sand. And if you don't believe me, watch this. Sarah, a tourist, wanted to practice parasailing without imagining what will happen. Suddenly, a shark fin appeared on the surface of the water, and very close to her. Impossible to run. Her boyfriend accelerated the boat as fast as he could. However, the shark refused to lose its prey and chased them for several minutes. The shark finally gave up waiting for its prey to touch the water, and everything was under control. But what would have happened if the boat had been turned off? Cutting a truck in half. You drive your car to work and think everything is normal. What you don't know is that the kiss of death may be near. A man in China had to live through the most frightening event of his life. Mr. Shang was driving on a highway in central China like any other day. Suddenly, and without him being able to blink, a circular saw blade as big as a tractor tire was embedded in his truck. The giant disc fell from the back of a truck traveling in a nearby lane of the highway. Inexplicably, neither the angle at which the saw blade became embedded nor the speed of the truck was against the driver. The driver was unharmed and was able to tell the story. Death is so alive that without realizing it, it accompanies us in the streets, the office, and even gets into the kitchen. It is like a shadow that unwillingly pursues all its victims in order to reach them. But it's not always so lucky. Even at the moments when it's the closest, something inexplicable can happen, and the luckiest people manage to avoid in incredible ways the worst dangers that could have led them to death. So even if the Reaper is near, don't answer it and rather stay with us to enjoy more incredible stories. See you next time. Please be safe and thank you for watching us. Remember to click the bell icon after you subscribe so you can get instant notifications of all our new videos.